tell us a little bit about this concept of editing is everything in improv. That
Mhm.
sounds confusing. That sounds like there's a lot there. Tell us more.
Well, in improv, it's all unplanned, especially in long form improvisation, where we don't know when the scene's going to end. We don't know if this is like a 30-second little like boop of laughter and then moving on to a more flushed out scene with multiple. We don't know any of that. It's all fluid, it's all being created. And finding the point when a scene is done is what we call an edit. So it's an edit point for me in improvisational comedy is the number one skill. I mean, it's like 85% of like good improv is, do these performers edit the scene, end the scene, change it to a new scene at the right time. And it is the hardest skill to do. And it can take mediocre scenes and improv into the A plus territory. If you end like a meh scene at the right time, it turns into like a B plus. If you edit a B plus scene at the right time, it turns into something that the audience like can't even imagine in wonder and awe and like theater magic. Like it's incredible. And on the reverse side, when you edit too soon, there's a really like jarring pull and urge that the audience wants to see the rest of that scene and they really like that. And even worse and more often and more common when people are learning improv is to let things go too long. So when we talk about improv and editing in the stage aspect, we're looking for the height. And I have a visual aid of a wave. And we want to end a scene at the crest of the wave. Almost not even at the very top, and certainly not once it starts to go down, but we want to, as it's building and getting more and more exciting and more funny and more laughs, and it can be laughter. Oftentimes we're going for laughter, but it can be a resolution. It could be the end of a song. It could be whatever the crescendo of the energy, of the vibe. In improv comedy, most of the time it's laughter, but it could be a resolution. It could be a kiss. It could be something. That's when we need to edit and go into a new direction, a new scene. And we can come back to those same characters and they're more powerful if we come back to them and we edited it correctly. But when I say that editing is everything, it's the pacing of the show and whether the scenes, the vignettes, the group scenes, the experimental theater, whatever we are presenting, if it's all edited correctly, it's magic. And if if it's edited incorrectly, it's hell on earth.
Yeah, I love this visual of the wave, right? The crescendo of this wave, right? You're right at the top of it. It's just about to, you're thinking about this crashing, right before this crash, right? This heightening of this big laugh or this moment. And I think about editing from the framework again, kind of from a perspective of a leader, right? Having to pay attention to so much that's going on in their environment and when to step in. And like you said in improv, you're editing a lot of different things, right? And so for a leader, you're probably having to edit or step in for different types of interventions or different reasons. So sometimes it may be as simple as you realize your team is just missing some context, right? They're a little bit lost, and so you just need to step in and give them some critical information. You see that sometimes in improv, where somebody from the back line or will shout something out, or just come in and provide some information, and it helps enhance the scene. That's kind of an edit, if you will, or at least you're enhancing it. You're not stopping the scene, but you're providing some more context, and then it provides some more richness to the scene. But sometimes you might notice that your team is struggling with a situation or a project, and you have to step in and edit that by maybe some coaching or some support, and that would be a form of editing as a leader. But maybe it's just not going well, and there's just some conflict there, and you have to tap somebody out. or just stop it, or say, hey, we're going to have you take a break here, or you're going to sort of edit that situation as a leader, because you can see that it's not going well and you may need to make some adjustments. But I also love that you have to think about that timing, right? Because I think I come from the world of higher education where there's so often we don't get a break. We're just like continually going and going and going, and we forget to stop and celebrate the wins or the highlights. And in improv, that's when we stop the scene on this big laugh. And I think as a leader, it's really important that we hit a button and we stop in those moments to really celebrate the success
True.
of your team, of something monumental that just happened, right? You bring in the cake and the cupcakes or the whatever, and you acknowledge team members, and that's a form of editing, to just pause and say, "Great work, everybody. You're working really hard. I see you, and incredible things are happening here," and that's a form of editing. Um so and I think this laughter and humor are a way of helping people connect, and so just pausing and being present and bringing some humor and some lightness is another way of, I think, of just sort of editing and slowing down and helping people zoom in to say, hey, we're humans here. And it's really important that we play and enjoy each other a little bit in these spaces. And so I think from a leader standpoint, we should always be looking like, where do we need to step in and sort of massage and edit situations to help everyone be at their best and be really successful. So there's a lot to unpack in all of that. But I
Mhm.
think that
Well,
this concept is just, it's so rich. There's so much here.
and I wanna piggyback off of some things you're saying. It's like, so in improv, it's like if you have an ensemble of 8 people or so, there's like 5 people in the back and there's 2 people doing a scene. And, like coming in and changing or editing the scene is the back line, is the team's
Uh-huh.
job. They need to be paying attention, they need to be in the yes mode, they need to be focusing on what's going on. And the people who are performing in front m might be calling for help, might be needing something, and just what you were mentioning, that I think it's all total edits, where it's like, if they need some sense of urgency, if they need some location, if they need something, some assistance from the team can come in, make a quick edit or a walk on, give the urgency, give the thing that serves the scenes that the 2 people didn't connect with, and then, oh, they have the gift. The team gave them the gift. The team was
Yes.
like, they had their back, they weren't checking out on their phone, they were in the scene, they're watching it. What do I need to do? Do I need to come in? Boom, they need a location. Hey, we're in Applebee's. Here's your order, and then I get out of the way. And it's like
Uh-huh.
pulling focus and giving focus back to the people that we want to see succeed. So I think that translates very much to project dynamics, work dynamics, like team dynamics. And then also like, oh, at the top, get them out of there. So it's like hockey team. They score the goal. They've been like skating their brains out. They score the goal. All of them go off. Hockey is like an on and off
Uh-huh.
thing. And I don't watch hockey, but one of my favorite movies is Miracle, starring Kurt Russell. And that's the thing. So it's like they do the thing, they were at their best, get them out of there so that somebody
Mhm.
else can come in, give them
Yes.
reprieve, but then they can do their best.
Uh-huh.
This is what we're doing.
I love that. Yes. Right. And so even though I was focused on the leader, everyone's a leader, especially in the work environment. You, as a colleague, you have that capacity to help edit and lead and support your team members by coming in and just saying, "Hey, it looks like you're struggling. Let me provide some support, some context, some information, tap you out for a minute, give you a break, and then have you come back in because I know that you've got this. I'm just going to come in and provide a little support and then step back out." And again, I think it's just a really beautiful metaphor for how teams can really have each other's back, like you said, and support each other, and really paying attention and being very present, and noticing what's going on around us, and calling for that help. And then also paying attention when we see somebody who needs that help and stepping in, and then flourishing in a really important ways for our teams.
Totally.
Mhm. Nailed it.
Ding.